Hello, I'm Richard Raffan. A number of people have asked me about my shear scrapers, so that's what this video is about. Basically, I have three shear scrapers. This is the one I use most of the time. This is 1 inch diameter, 1/4 inch thick, 25 millimeters by about 6 millimeters. And this is a spear point, which I don't think you'll have seen used in any of the videos I've made so far, and likewise with this one. They've each got slightly different applications, but most of the time I just need this one. So looking at these, I found over the years experimenting with different tools for shear scraping, that the 1 inch wide, 25 mil wide by 6 mil, 1/4 of an inch thick, just seemed to be the right kind of combination of size and weight. And I can feel when I'm using this tool, I can feel a bit of vibration coming through from the cut. So I just feel I have a more sensitive approach with this tool over a heavier one. Now these shear scrapers, this was manufactured by Henry Taylor. I don't know if it's still available. But the side was manufactured with a round side so that it slides easily up and down a rest. Now the problem with, as I see it, with a rounded side is that it means that you don't have quite as sharp a corner up here as you might always want. So I've just taken a little bite out of that, and you'll see that in the video there is on grinding this tool. Not essential, but it just makes some of the little jobs I do a little bit easier. Another tool which was manufactured by Henry Taylor, and again I don't know if it's still available. This one actually still has my name on it as a part of the signature range, but this used to come with a much longer point. I've ground this one back over the years. It's got a 45-degree bevel on the nose, so it's not something you want to drop on your foot, point down. One, you stuff up the end, but it would probably penetrate leather and certainly canvas. And so this is designed for shear scraping out of corners, and we'll do that in just a second. And this is a slightly wider tool, made out of a 30 mil diameter 1.25 inch scraper. This used to be a square end scraper, I suppose, or round nose, I don't know. And it looks like one of my old signature tools, so I can't remember what it was. It's old. And I've ground it with a slight radius here, slight radius there, so that I can get in onto concave surfaces and shear scrape if I want to. I don't use this one very much because I find it just a bit heavy, but I've got it out for this video just really to show what you can do with it. Now a lot of people have been wondering if they can make one of these, and of course you can. All you need is a bit of suitable steel. Now the chances are this skew chisel, which is 1 inch by 1/4, when this has had its life as a skew, and it's got another, well, probably 1 inch or so to go now, but that is the kind of ideal tool for transforming into a shear scraper. And if I'm going to do that, I probably wouldn't even bother to take away the top bevel. I'd just grind the under bevel and use this edge, and the top bevel will just get shorter and shorter and shorter, so to be a negative rake scraper to start with, and then come back to the more sensible, in my mind, square section. You'll have seen this in almost every facework video I've made. So what I have here is just a little, really a bowl which isn't going to make it, a little hollow form, because it's got splits in it, and I doubt if they'll come out. So I can use this tool flat, stroking the surface. That's flat scraping. But if I want a better surface, generally I can then turn it up on edge and slide it up and down the rest. Now, because the edge is curved, that'll make it slide more easily on what is a hardened rest anyway. So if you have a rest without a hardened top, it pays to file it smooth so that the tool moves over it more smoothly. I'm going to just drop the rest very slightly. The cut needs to be in the lower half of the tool here, not actually on the corner necessarily, but just in this area. If I have the tool up on edge and the wood contacts up here, there's a huge space underneath. There's a lot of leverage off the fulcrum, which is back here, so that's really asking for a catch. So I'll get in this situation up as close as I can to the foot, and that's exactly, I was not meaning to demonstrate that, but that is exactly what happens and why I have the spear point. So I started far too close to the foot there. Whereas where I wanted to be was just taking off this amount of dust. Now what happened with the catch was I was trying to get that portion in there, and it just, somewhere there'll be a big, oh, it's just there, but so the bottom of the foot just caught the top of the edge. And I was too busy looking in the viewfinder to actually notice what was happening. So I'll keep this end clear of that foot for this time. So I'm just going to use that edge and stroke it around the corner. Now in this situation, if I wanted to do that side, I used to have the opposites of this, the mirror image, so I could scrape that way. But I now have this as an option, so if I have the rest more or less parallel with the lathe axis, and I've got the one tool here, I can use this edge here, same thing. And you can see where the dust is coming off, just here. And if I go around to the other side, just going to be using the lower portion of that edge. Of course, once you get up there, it starts to get a bit grabby. And I can also use this tool flat. And because you're never working very far away from the rest, you can have quite a short tool. Now if I want to get into this corner here, I can use the spear point. This is what it was initially designed for, and that means that I can get into the corner there and just drop the handle and shift it away, drift it away. So the tool is on its side. And still, one of the problems here is if you are pushing the tool forward at all, if you even hint at going forwards into that shoulder, you'll probably have an almighty catch. So the idea is to just bring it in flat and then drop the handle and pivot it away. I can also go in onto the other side. And it's quite useful for doing little edges. And if I want to come around this side, this is actually quite a useful tool, and I don't know why I've had it tucked away so long. The other thing about it, it's pretty lethal on the end, so you can just make little grooves with it. And then just use the point to round them over. And that's a pretty nice clean cut all the way around. So a shear scraper, very useful to have. The main thing, if you're going to make yourself a spear point, make sure that this is an acute angle, less than 90 degrees. Otherwise you're going to have a problem getting into a corner. This is slightly more than 90 degrees, so it really, if I tilt it up on edge, I can get in there. But I can't get in comfortably if in many situations with this tool. So this is very much like the one Ray Key used to use, and that was also maybe still commercially available.